Well, hello guys. Everybody has heard about OnePlus. It was a company that was launched in 2015 with the first device being OnePlus One, which was an immense success. After that, uh, OnePlus 2 and OnePlus X launched and they were colossal failures. My point being, OnePlus as a company has launched more devices that have failed miserably in the market than devices that have actually succeeded. Let me elaborate. OnePlus One was the first device of the company, aggressively priced at 22,000 bucks, and in fact it was an immense success. OnePlus 2. In OnePlus 2, actually dropped a feature. Can you imagine? In the successor to the most selling phone, the first phone of a company is actually dropping a feature, the NFC. The useless argument being, nobody uses it. What the fuck is this company saying? I mean, what is wrong with it? You cannot drop a feature. Anyways, OnePlus 3 and 3T were success. OnePlus 5 and 5T were also success. But if we start looking at what has happened to the company after OnePlus 5T, we can see that they have basically stopped innovating. The camera on OnePlus 6 is actually worse than the camera on OnePlus 5T. Can you imagine? OnePlus 6 didn't sell that well. Neither did OnePlus 7, 7T. And OnePlus 8, which was launched recently, is having severe screen issues. Of course, there have been a lot of issues with OnePlus over the past so many years. Here some of them I have discussed with you. But my point being, why do we keep giving this company so many chances? Here I came across an article which shows it's time to stop buying phones from OnePlus. I'll not make you read the entire article, but nonetheless, I just want to showcase a few points which I found interesting. Number one, we all know that OnePlus One was available as an invite-only phone. That's all right, considering it was the company's first phone. I don't call this an issue. Moving on. In May 2014, there was an issue where people were having yellow screens and warranty issues. And OnePlus, instead of acknowledging that it is a hardware issue, gave a vague statement that it was not a quality issue and was not covered under warranty. That means people were stuck with using their defective devices. Google, on the other hand, gave a similar response, but nonetheless, it increased the Pixel 2 warranty to an unprecedented 2 years, so at least there was some sort of response. Anyways, when we are talking about OnePlus, why not to talk about Cyanogen? It was the OS with which OnePlus One launched. We all know Cyanogen mod. It was quite popular in the Android custom ROM community. What actually happened was that OnePlus One ran Cyanogen out of the box, but later on, Oxygen OS was launched, and OnePlus abruptly ended its partnership with Cyanogen. Well, it's okay to end its partnership, but nonetheless, it was a bad thing uh, for the consumers, as they had to visit OnePlus service centers and get the latest version of Oxygen OS. Now, by now, you'd expect that OnePlus, having sold OnePlus One, would rather stop the invite system, as OnePlus One was a tremendous success. But no, in August 2015, OnePlus 2 also had an invite system garbage. And when phones with NFC were getting more and more popular, OnePlus launched a phone without NFC, which was pathetic, in my opinion, giving a vague reason that in OnePlus One people never used NFC. That's a very shitty excuse, if you ask me. Then in November 2015, OnePlus sold garbage USB-C cables. Now, why do I say they were garbage? They were garbage because uh, using the cable or adapter had the potential to fry the power source, thanks to the dodgy resistors in their construction. That was the main problem. Then in June 2016, IMEI data was being sent to OnePlus servers over an unencrypted connection. Well, no issues, you're buying a cheap phone. Well, not anymore. In 2016, phones weren't as cheap as they were in 2015. And we're talking about OnePlus 3, and which was sending IMEI number, the unique identification number. Well, that's not a big deal, isn't it? Anyways, if we move further, we see that in January 2017, OnePlus gets caught cheating on benchmarks. Well, everybody cheats on benchmarks. No, everybody doesn't. Only the Chinese shitty companies like Xiaomi, Realme, Oppo, Vivo, OnePlus cheat on benchmarks. Samsung never manipulates benchmarks. It is as if you are lying to the consumer. As I don't know the exact story behind it, but what I feel is when the phone detects that someone is running a benchmark test, it boosts up the performance in order to boost up the score. But in day-to-day usage, the overall performance is rather not as good as showcased by its Antutu score. Moving on. After this, after being caught in January 2017, it was again caught in June 2017. Seems someone never really learns from its mistakes. Okay, no issues. OnePlus is a good company. In June 2017, OnePlus 5 was having display issues, in which it was a serious issue in which there was a gelling effect predominantly because of the display being installed upside down. Well, how can you defend the company now? Anyways, moving on. In July 2017, OnePlus 2 reaches end of life early. After telling users that Nougat would be available for OnePlus 2, OnePlus 2 never really got the Nougat update and reached its end of life at Marshmallow. Well, OnePlus 2 was a flagship phone, at least the cost was, and it not getting a software update is, well, really bad in my opinion. Moving on. In July 2017, OnePlus 5 devices rebooted during 911 calls. Imagine you are in an emergency, you want to call the police or the ambulance, and your phone randomly reboots. Emergency can be anything, as if someone's trying to rob your house, or someone is trying to kidnap your baby, or your mother has suffered a heart attack. But no, your phone is going to reboot, even if you die. Wow, How reliable are OnePlus phones, I must say. In October 2017, OnePlus was caught again collecting private data without approval, and it ranges from clipboard data to serial number. That means that it was collecting user's identity without the user's permission. The company claimed that it was sending two separate sets of data, one for device usage and analytics, and the other for device information, for better after-sales support. Alright. The real issue, however, was OnePlus was doing this without user agreement, without even notifying the user. Without even taking the user's permission, they are transmitting your data onto their Chinese servers. How cool is that? And wow, what privacy and security you get from OnePlus phones, I must say. Hats off to them. Anyways, moving on. In November 2017, another more serious security issue cropped up, in which OnePlus phones could be rooted without unlocking the bootloader through a backdoor called Engineer Mode. Well, many of you who don't know, Engineer Mode is something where you can install basically anything on your device using the PC. But for that, until now, your phone had to be rooted. But no, in this, you don't need to even root your phone. You can do it on the stock software because, well, OnePlus. Moving on, in January 2018, a massive credit card breach emerged, in which 40,000 customers' credit card info was stolen. The actual breach happened between November 2017 to January 2018, which is 3 months, I suppose. Anyways, what is... Imagine you are doing a transaction on your device. You are transferring some money to a friend or family or an acquaintance somewhere, and your credit card information is being transferred onto OnePlus servers. What the fuck? Moving on. In January 2018, OnePlus shipped beta software with a suspicious clipboard APK. Just days after announcing the credit card breach that compromised 40,000 users' card information, a user found a questionable APK in a beta build of Oxygen OS for OnePlus 3T. He found a clipboard capture tool whose code implied that it copied information placed on the clipboard and attempts to send it to Teddy Mobile, a Chinese company. Well, some of you might say, if you're so paranoid about Chinese companies, stop buying phones from a Chinese company. Well, there is one thing about being paranoid about a Chinese company and uh, a Chinese company sharing your data without your permission. People actually trust OnePlus. I don't know why they do, but they do. Anyways, this is all regarding some of the issues. Now let's come to hardware issues. Let's talk about OnePlus Nord. Everybody knows that OnePlus Nord was recently launched. MKBHD did a video with Carl Pai in which he showcased very nice designs. I must say, I really like the three camera L-shaped design that Carl Pai showcased. It looked so futuristic. But no, all of these prototypes were never launched. They were just to showcase. And the phone basically launched with the same 3-year design, which we are seeing since 2017. It's a 3-year-old design. Great. Anyways, even if we forget about the design for a moment, what do I read on OnePlus forum? OnePlus didn't mention that Nord has a plastic frame.
They're shipping a 24,999, 25,000 rupees phone with a plastic frame. What the fuck is going on? You get a metallic phone at 14,000 bucks. Redmi Note 9 Pro, Redmi Note 9, Realme 6i, and a bunch of other phones from other manufacturers. And this OnePlus has the audacity to sell you a phone with a plastic frame at 25,000 bucks. Okay, well, some idiots are going to buy it. Moving on, let's talk about Nord some more. What do I see in Nord? Okay, fine. I understand that Nord was launched at about 31,000 bucks in Europe and was launched at 25,000 bucks in India. There is some price difference, of course, but nonetheless, if you see in 5G bands here in Europe, it supports 1, 3, 7, 28, and 78. Five 5G bands in Europe. And in India, it supports just one 5G band. What kind of bullshit is this going on? Why are we Indians getting a shitty hardware? Why aren't we getting proper band support? What if we want to travel to Europe or the rest of the world with our device? We don't have that option because the device won't even catch signals outside of India. Well, some people are still going to buy OnePlus Nord. Moving on, let's talk about OnePlus 8 and 8T. It's just taking a bit more time. Hold on. Here. I came across this review of OnePlus 8. Great, but always with some screen and body issues. I changed OnePlus 8 4 times due to something or the other defects like headache, giving screens, line marks, etc. Phone boxes were puffed, torn. Some displays were dull, if noticed closely, more warm and yellowish. No control by OnePlus on this. People go nuts like, wow, what a display, not realizing that they are being given an inferior quality display of Samsung. Yes, you heard me right. Samsung makes OnePlus displays and pretty much all the displays of Apple iPhones. I really hope people strive for perfection to really understand, to get what they are paying for by controlling their excitements a bit and forward stronger feedbacks. My fifth device came altogether from a different location. Excellent box. Phone built and display feels more broader, even with the same dimensions. No two parallel lines design or defect at the back. It's clean and curvy like OnePlus 8 8GB variant. Mine is the 6GB. Screen display is still more warm, which I didn't want, but colors are very punchy, etc. Now let's talk about the 5 devices that this fellow ordered. First OnePlus 8 had a very long permanent line mark on the back of the body if looked closely. Second OnePlus 8 display's blue light filter had issues. Third OnePlus 8, two parallel lines on the edges of the body, of the back body. If the device was tilted a little, that means a kind of a scratch in a new phone. Fourth OnePlus 8, two parallel lines were again there, so I thought it's normal and was okay with it, but display was yellowish and dull. Playing PUBG and graphics optimization made the game look more ugly in extreme HD settings. Fifth OnePlus 8, as told above, there are no two parallel lines, punchy colors, not dull, and very good display, however, still yellowish tint in large part of the screen. I also know screen being yellowish a bit makes video viewing, etc. 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 Anyways, no big deal. It's a normal issue, it's a widespread issue. Here if we head on Amazon, OnePlus 8 Pro, 8 128, Going down, going to reviews, we can see pathetic screen quality, stay away from this one. Black bar, black crush, issue with display, screen flickering issue, that's not good. Anyways, let's open all the reviews. A flagship, what the hell? A flagship phone having just 59% 5-star ratings. Anyways, some people are still going to buy it. Here, wow, man, this thing is really serious. Black bar, black crush, red tint, wow. Defective second time. What the hell is going on with Amazon and OnePlus? Worst phone, battery is draining quickly, display is blurred. Okay. Worst flagship phone, okay. Display issue, alright. Green patches visible under low brightness, alright. Well, so as you can see, guys, this is not an isolated issue. A lot of people are having this issue. Manufacturing defect, screen with dead pixels, great. Serious display issues, screen issues, oh fish, how green this is. Let's open the image. Oh, that's not good. Going back. Decide for yourself. Anyways, battery draining is high, display issue, black crush issue. This is the black crush issue, guys. Well, it doesn't seem like it. Let's see what this issue is. Anyways, moving on. Do not buy before reading this, read it before buying. So it's not an isolated issue. Decide for yourself. Well, if you ask me, uh, Apple doesn't have such issues. Samsung makes Apple displays also. Samsung phones don't have such issues. Samsung makes their own displays. Pixels don't have such issues. Yes, Pixels have been known to have display issues, but not as severe as these. It certainly is a manufacturing defect. Choose for yourself. Choose wisely.
Well, as you saw, that OnePlus has a history of making shitty decisions. By shitty decisions, I mean sharing IMEI numbers, sharing credit card info, shipping phones with displays upside down, having display issues in the latest OnePlus 8 or 8 Pro for that case. OnePlus quality control sucks. And I mean it when I say it. My point being, how did we come to know about OnePlus Nord, the recent device that has been launched? How did we actually come to know about it? From the YouTubers. OnePlus, the way they promoted Nord is actually a case study. Can you imagine that is going to be taught in marketing schools like the IIM Ahmedabad without spending a single penny? How do you fool the customer into believing that what you're launching is the best and there is nothing above it? Don't get me wrong, they make excellent devices. Their software is the cleanest of the lot. But my point being, how can you trust a company which has been caught so many times stealing your information? How can you? My point being, how can you trust a company in which out of the total phones that it has launched, more than 50% have been failures. How can you trust a company which is giving very less bands in India, as I've showed in the video before? Just 78 band is given in India, whereas 4 or 5 bands are given in Europe. I'm talking about 5G bands here. Why? I ask, why? Regarding YouTubers, I can answer that for you. YouTubers are actually given review units from OnePlus. And if they don't praise OnePlus, they are going to stop getting review units. As simple as that. Samsung has actually launched very nice phones for the past, I can say, 1.5 years, 2 years, I suppose, with the M series. M21 is a nice phone, M31 is a nice phone, in fact even A21s is an excellent phone. My point being, Samsung is a Korean company, South Korean company, which is made in India. OnePlus is a purely Chinese company. Now I wouldn't talk about being ethical or being unethical, buying Chinese products. They are the bang for the buck. They give you value for money. But I'm from a military background. My grandfather was superintendent of police. My uncle was DIG in BSF. I have seen wars with Pakistan. I've been part of the force very closely. I've observed it. I can't say much about the Indo-China war, but what I can say is something that happened in Galwan shouldn't have happened. And China was the one who invaded our territory in the first place. Because Indians never do that. Indians don't capture land. India has a rich cultural heritage. It never captures somebody else's land and claims it to be their own. Anyways, my point being, it's not about you want to take revenge for the fallen soldiers. It's simply the fact that Samsung is an A-list company. Even if you get a Chinese phone, what about the software? How can you be sure that your information is safe and is not being transmitted to Chinese servers? Whether it be Realme or Xiaomi. In fact, Xiaomi even has the Clean Master and Hello and all the banned apps. The point being, OnePlus is not the best brand in the world. It's Apple. And it will continue to be Apple. I've been using a MacBook Pro for the past 10 years. I'm about to buy the new iPhone 12 5G when it launches. You cannot compare OnePlus with Apple. And OnePlus certainly doesn't have the best camera. It overexposes. Even the 8 Pro, we can see that Pixel smokes the shit out of it. OnePlus camera sucks. OnePlus quality control sucks. OnePlus as a company is a failed example because it has less than 50% of its products that have been successful, if I can say that. But it is value for money. At what cost? Inferior LCD panels or AMOLED panels, or an inferior camera, or your privacy? The choice is yours. Be Indian. Don't buy Indian. I won't say that, but at least think before you buy. These YouTubers, don't trust them blindly. Sayonara. Signing off.